The last place I wanted to be was Frostnipistan.
This One's Wife. Suits. No reboot for you. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. According to Alison Boshoff and Lillian Gisson, who write for the Daily Mail, This One's Wife will not appear in new LA-based Suits Reboot, despite writers creating perfect role for her. This One's Wife will not appear in the upcoming Suits Reboot, despite writers creating a perfect role for her. But she did try and get her company Archwell involved in the production. News hit the web last month that a spin-off series entitled Suits LA was in the works 4 years after the original show that propelled This One's Wife into the spotlight. Marrying Harry propelled her into the spotlight and came to an end, and immediately speculation about whether or not the Duchess of Sussex would be involved ensued. Now, sources close to the new show have confirmed exclusively to the Daily Mail that Prince Harry's wife has no plans to act in the series, even though it features a character who appears to be tailor-made for her. While mum of two, This One's Wife, 42, has not opted to join the new project as on-screen talent, the insider suggested that she might have been interested in getting involved another way, as an executive producer via her production company, Archwell. This One's Wife was clear that she didn't want to be involved as an actor, but Archwell was trying to wiggle its way in as a production company on the spin-off, they claimed. NBC have killed that idea. Separate sources close to Archwell deny this vigorously, however, and say that the company would never have been involved in a reboot. This One's Wife played paralegal Rachel Zane in the original show, which premiered in 2011 and came to an end in 2019, but she left in 2017 after her romance with Prince Harry took off. Last summer, the legal drama unexpectedly became the most streamed show in the United States for 12 weeks straight after it was added to Netflix. Soon after, rumours began to spread that it was going to be rebooted after Patrick J. Adams, who played Michael James Ross, This One's Wife's love interest in the series, started showing a slew of never-before-seen shots from when he was making the show. The actor posted a carousel of throwback behind-the-scene images of himself and his fellow Suits stars, including many intimate shots of This One's Wife, which he captioned, "I miss my friends." He shared some more in another post the next day, writing, "This well is deep." Both posts were later deleted, as Patrick said they posed as a distraction from the actors' strike. At the time, however, many speculated that his posts were a clue that the hit series was going to make a comeback. 1 month later, it was revealed that a spin-off series was in development at NBC Universal. Suits creator Aaron Korsh has returned to develop the new show, serving as writer and executive producer alongside David Bartis and Doug Lyman for Hypnotic and Gene Klein. Entitled Suits LA, it will be set in the same world as the original, but will feature new characters and take place in Los Angeles rather than New York City. It's set to follow Ted Black, a former federal prosecutor from New York, who has reinvented himself, representing the most powerful clients in Los Angeles, with production slated to start in Vancouver in late March. A synopsis reads, "His firm is at a crisis point, and in order to survive, he must embrace a role he held in contempt his entire career. Ted is surrounded by a stellar group of characters who test their loyalties to both Ted and each other, while they can't help but mix their personal and professional lives." All of this is going on while events from years ago slowly unravel that led Ted to leave behind everything and everyone he loved. Aaron has created a character named Erica, who appears tailor-made to be played by this one's wife. Erica is an African-American, career-focused Californian girl in her 30s. Is she 43% Nigerian? No. Who is smarter than everyone and enjoys an eventful personal life. This one's wife reacted to her show's Resurgence at the end of last year, telling Variety that she had no idea what prompted it, but added, "Good shows are everlasting." "It's hard to find a show you can binge watch that many episodes of these days," she continued, so that could have something to do with it. Many of the original Suits stars reunited at the Golden Globes earlier in January, without this one's wife. Gina Torres, who was once so close to this one's wife that she was among the guests at St. George's Chapel in Windsor for the royal wedding in 2018, made a shocking admission about her relationship with the Duchess during the event. She admitted, "We don't have her number, we just don't," adding that the rest of the cast kept in touch via a WhatsApp group. While chatting with E! News on the red carpet at the event, Patrick also discussed the upcoming spin-off. "I'm totally astounded it's found a second life. I feel honoured," he said. "When you walk away from a show, you think that's it, and you're going to move on to something else, and just to know that a whole new generation of people are finding it and loving it almost more than they loved it first time around. It's incredible." Thus, news that this one's wife is not going to be in a Suits reboot, and apparently she has chosen not to do it. Is it the case that it was never offered to her and that wounds her? Quite possibly. Naturally, she would have an expectation that such a role would be offered to her because she is Suits. Remember, the Resurgence is entirely down to her, at least she thinks it is. That the show was all about her, and of course, if there is an African-American, career-focused Californian girl in her 30s who is smarter than everyone, well, that surely has to be this one's wife, because after all, she is an African-American, career-focused Californian girl who thinks she's in her 30s and believes herself to be smarter than everyone. Accordingly, it's a role that she believes ought to have been offered to her. And it's quite probably the case that it wasn't, because she's viewed as too old, and also you'd have a similar problem of this. The reboot occupies the same universe as the original Suits. Therefore, why on earth would Rachel Zane suddenly transfer from New York to Los Angeles and be called Erica? So you couldn't offer the role, because you'd need somebody else in it. Because people would go, "Hang on a second, that's Rachel Zane. This doesn't make sense." Therefore, to my mind, it isn't the case that this one's wife turned it down, but rather she was never offered it in the first place. With her usual sense of entitlement, she expects that such a role would be given to her, but it's not. That wounds. Accordingly, in order to nullify that threat to control, she has to suggest that she's the one that turned it down. This is a typical behaviour of a narcissist. It's often seen, for example, where the narcissist finds out that the intimate partner has left them, but goes around telling everybody else that they ended the relationship. It's to nullify the threat to control posed by the fact that the other person ended the relationship, because who on earth would ever want to end a relationship with someone as wonderful as them? Nobody. So clearly that didn't happen. I decided to call time on the relationship. So similarly here, oh no, it wasn't the case that they didn't offer it to me. I said I didn't want it. Trots out this one's wife, nullifying the threat to control posed by the fact that she was not offered it in the first place. Thereafter, she probably did attempt to have some involvement in the show, because she hadn't been offered the part, by trying to get Archwell involved. That would suit her, because what it would mean is that Archwell would have something else to talk about, that some money would be made for it, but she wouldn't have to do anything. The staff would be the ones that would do the running around, and once again she'd be able to claim the credit of other people's honest endeavour. Thus, she was never offered it in the first place. That wounded her. She therefore has to generate PR suggesting, no, I turned it down, and then had to deal with the issue of trying to get Archwell involved, which NBC said, you can shove that up your jacksie. Another resounding success, of course, for this one's wife, demonstrating what an abject loser she is. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.